Welcome to Alex the Medium. This video is going to be me answering some general questions that I get asked very frequently. I have Travis here who assists me and also mediates in group readings to kind of help out ask the questions.
How do your group readings work?
Well, there's me, there's Kazoo, and there's a group. And we all sit together. Someone can ask a question, and then Kazoo and I will spend some time with them. And then we will switch to another person who has a question. Everyone in the group can kind of interject or be a part of it. So sometimes Kazoo will give some answer to a question you have, and we'll discuss a particular topic that you're dealing with. Let's say it's career, and then, or a career transition. And then other people in the group who have gone through it or are going through something similar will also interject. The group reading works kind of like as a conversation between all of us and Kazoo and the guides that tune in to give information.
Is information that I'll be receiving in a group reading discreet?
So it just depends on your level of comfort. Kazoo will not give all the details about your, whatever the issue is. Let's say it's a health issue, and let's say it's an embarrassing health issue that has to do with whatever. What Kazoo will kind of give me based on whoever he's hearing is specific information telling you it's about health and it's about remedying the situation with this rather than this, or maybe you haven't looked into this. He'll kind of keep it a little bit vague if you don't want the whole 10 to 15 people in the group to hear about your issues. If you are comfortable kind of sharing all that stuff, I encourage it. Kazoo encourages it because there might be, again, similar situations in the group, within the group, that other people can interject and add to the conversation and help us all out.
How do you see and hear Kazoo?
I don't see anymore. When I was a child and a teenager, I would see guides and spirits all the time. I chose to turn that off years ago and don't need to see him to communicate. The way that Kazoo communicates with me, it's almost as if a thought pops into my head that's not my own. Someone said this to me recently and I wanted to remember it. It's a thought that I didn't think, or a thought stream that I'm not thinking. And that's how he communicates with me.
Do you see everyone's spirit guides?
I do not see everyone's spirit guides. When I was a teenager and I first started giving people readings at 19, I would see everybody's spirit guides, and sometimes I'd see people that had kind of intense energy. And I dealt with it for a long time. And then as I realized that I kind of don't need to partake in seeing them in order to receive their information, I stopped doing it to kind of disassociate the kind of anxiety that I was getting by seeing them, so that I'm able to just kind of get information from people that have good information and give it to you in a positive way.
How did you become a medium?
Well, very reluctantly. I've been speaking to Kazoo since I was 4 years old, reconnected with him at 19 through a medium who reintroduced him to me and started kind of helping me understand how to communicate better with him and navigate this whole spiritual system. And I was very reluctant towards it. I kind of shunned it for a while and kind of stayed away from it. But I have two very close friends that always throughout the years have been asking Kazoo questions. Friends of friends started happening, and then I was giving people readings that I didn't know. I became more comfortable with it, and I found a process and helping people, and I noticed that people were feeling helped by it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And the rest is history. I've been doing it for 6 years now.
Can you communicate to my family members who have passed on?
The short answer is yes. However, I personally don't communicate the way a lot of television mediums that I see communicate, or I think what most people think is the norm. Kazoo is the person that I speak to in every reading. I use Kazoo to kind of filter all the people that show up for a reading to get the best information that's the most helpful towards whatever information you want to know. And certain people that you may know that have passed on will come to him and they will say, it's me, I'm related to this person, or he'll sense an energy about them that's related to you, or it's not related, seemingly friend. He'll get like an age reference as to when they passed. And so we discuss it that way. What I have found that happens is Kazoo will tell me what this person's saying, and I'll start giving you the information they want to give to you. And you, as the person receiving the information, usually immediately know who it is that's talking.
Do you know the name of my spirit guide?
No, I don't. Does Kazoo? No. And here's why. The way Kazoo explains it to me is The being on the other end that's not living here now, who has passed on, doesn't need to be referred to in any way. They exist in a way that's completely different than we exist here in human life. They don't present themselves with name to each other, Kazoo and your Uncle Bob, for instance. But what Kazoo does feel is his presence, his energy, and he describes it to me and the information they're giving, and then I give that information to you. However, names do come up for me often, but when they do, it doesn't seem to be the person that's passed on. It's a person that's living here now that they want to talk about.
What's your favorite and least favorite thing about being a medium?
I have a couple things. The connection I feel when I'm actually having a reading with someone who's open and receptive and engaging with me in it. It just feels nice. And when it's over, I don't personally remember a lot of the information, but I remember the exchange and the energy of the person I was talking to. And that lingers with me for hours. And I just love that energy. And it feels like something good transpired. I guess my least favorite, my number one, is people that want a reading from me, but they don't actually want a reading. So the opposite of my favorite. Someone who doesn't really want to be open or receptive. They just have magic 8-ball questions about like when they're going to get married and when am I going to have the house of my dreams? I don't love questions like that because they're kind of psychic future magic 8-ball questions, and you have free will, so anything can happen and no one can tell you what the future holds. So just get a magic 8-ball.
What are assumptions that people make about you?
To be honest, I don't pay a lot of mind as to what people might think about me. I'm pretty secure. It's taken years for me to feel confident and comfortable in doing this, being a medium, and the way that I do it. I guess a common misconception might be that people see other mediums on TV, like the Hollywood medium or Teresa Caputo, and they just assume that every medium works the way they do, but they don't even work the same. So there's just a million methods and ways that we all came about it. That might be it, just that we're not all the same.
How are you different from other mediums and psychics?
I often joke, a friend of mine once said that if I ever write a book, I should call it The Reluctant Medium. And that's because I never sought this out. I never had any interest in it. In fact, if you know me well, you know that I'm not woo-woo at all. It just, isn't me. But although I didn't seek it out, it presented itself to my life several times, even with me trying to push it aside, push Kazoo aside, and not partake in it. And I finally found a spot where I felt not only comfortable doing it, but fulfilled doing it because I was engaging with people and creating a good energy. So I think that's the main thing that sets me apart, that I didn't seek it out. I didn't go to a training program and get a certificate and have a banter or a presentational way of doing this. It's very matter of fact. It's very conversational. I'm just a guy who talks to this other dead guy, and I've got some info for you. Hopefully it helps.
How is your life better through doing reading?
Well, as I mentioned before, when I'm engaging with someone and they're open, which most of my clients are, I feel fulfilled. I feel like I've tapped into a thing that I love to do. And so and I think most of us there's not one path we all have. There's not one career or one love, but it's one of mine that I have really tapped into. And every time I do it, it makes me feel good. And it also helps attract the other things in my life that I love doing. So I just feel like it balances my life out. By me engaging in a thing that I love so much on a regular basis, all the other things start to fall into place because I'm constantly living and vibrating in the positive energy of this when I'm doing it.
How can I get a reading from you if I don't live in your city?
The majority of my clients are FaceTime and Skype. I would say about 75% of them. So it's as easy as that. Most of my regular clients, or even new clients, are not in New York City where I am. I do 90-minute readings where we just sit face-to-face on our computers and engage that way, and also 30-minute readings. I also do phone. Some people prefer to not be seen and just want to talk, which is great. I just prefer to see you and engage with you as much as possible. And so anyone can do a reading from anywhere. So that's all the questions I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have a question for me, you can leave it in the comments below or send it to me through social media. You can contact me at Alex the Medium on Facebook or Instagram. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can do so at alexthemedium.com. See you next time.